Chapter 14. Darius. As soon as her feet touched the dock, she noticed a figure descending the flight of steps. Her heart quickened, and she instinctively pulled the hijab tighter around her face, though her eyes remained vigilant. As the man drew closer, recognition struck her with a startling clarity. Darius. He moved with a composed, almost languid grace. His presence felt royal yet unobtrusive. He wore a white shirt, partially unbuttoned to reveal a glimpse of his toned chest, and a gold chain that glinted under the sunlight slipping through the surrounding foliage. The shirt, casual and elegant at the same time, contrasted with the traditional black shalwar pants, lending him an air of modernity tempered with cultural roots. His dark hair, carefully brushed to the back and styled with gel, framed a face that looked just as Anna remembered from the photograph: strong, angular features, and eyes that seemed to hold a universe of secrets and experiences. But today, those eyes were partially obscured by dark sunglasses. The sunglasses cast a shadow over the upper portion of his face, adding an element of mystery and making it hard to read his expression. Anna's breath caught in her throat. The man before her exuded a quiet confidence and an undeniable charisma that would have made him stand out in any gathering. No wonder Evelyn was so in love. As he approached, he offered a subtle, almost imperceptible nod, a silent acknowledgement of their shared purpose. "Darius," she whispered, the name slipping from her lips like a secret. He responded with a cool smile, his eyes watching the dock behind her for any signs of pursuit. When she glanced again at his sunglasses, curiosity got the better of her. "Why the sunglasses?" she inquired timidly. Darius shrugged in reply, the movement causing the polarized lenses to catch the water's reflection. "Medical reasons," he offered dismissively, though his tone suggested there was more to it. "They also serve as a useful means of disguise." Before she could say anything else, he reached behind his back and abruptly pulled out a gun with a silencer. The weapon was compact, designed for stealth and precision, with a matte finish that absorbed the sunlight rather than reflecting it. He seemed to aim it straight at her. Anna's heart stopped, confusion and fear flashing through her mind. Myriads of questions appeared in her eyes. But in the next instant, the gun shifted slightly, and a soft thud followed. The boatman, who had been preparing to leave, collapsed silently to the bottom of the boat. Anna stared back in shock, utterly speechless. "He could have given away our meeting spot," Darius explained calmly, and slipped the gun back into its holster. "We can't take any chances." Anna swallowed hard, the reality of their situation sinking in deeper. She lowered her eyes slowly, understanding the necessity, even if the act itself felt brutal to her. Darius briefly scanned the surroundings with a practiced vigilance of a long-time secret agent. "We can't stay here," he declared stonily, extending his arm towards Anna. "The palace is too exposed." She was still reeling from the shock, but followed him as he led the way up the steps and through a quaint passage, covered by an overhead trellis overgrown with beautiful wisteria, its light blue flowers drooping somberly over their heads as in mourning for the untimely end of a poor boatman. Nevertheless, they continued to move quickly, leaving the grandeur of the palace behind. After a few minutes of weaving through the garden's sandy paths, Darius pushed open a discreet door that led to the maintenance section, an area overgrown with lush greenery and shielded from prying eyes. "This way," he urged, guiding her through another series of winding paths and dense foliage until they emerged at a small, hidden jetty on the far side of the palace grounds. A small, unassuming motorboat was docked there, its engine already humming softly. Darius helped Anna aboard and quickly untied the vessel, steering it away from the palace and into the deeper waters of the Bosphorus. As they sped forward, the majestic building receded into the distance, its impressive silhouette becoming a mere shadow against the skyline. The initial tension between them after the incident at the palace began to ease as they approached a secluded cove, hidden by rocky outcrops. Darius cut the engine and let the boat drift gently into the opening. The spot was serene, with only the sounds of the water lapping against the rocks and the distant cries of seagulls breaking the silence. It was the perfect place for a secret meeting. Darius turned to Anna, his expression serious but relaxed. "We can talk here," he announced, and stepped off the boat. "No one will find us now." Anna pulled down her head covering, a flicker of relief washing over her after a day spent weaving through shadows and outpacing unknown crafty pursuers. As she followed Darius to the shore, she couldn't help but observe the man before her. He was clearly a complex figure, both temperamental and proud, with a high level of intelligence that was immediately apparent. His face held a mixture of intensity and guardedness, revealing a mind that was always working, always calculating. He carried himself with an air of confidence and self-assurance that bordered on arrogance, a trait that both intrigued and unsettled Anna. He had once been a high-ranking member of the Consortium, privy to its darkest secrets and most sinister plans. His departure from the organization had been sudden and shrouded in mystery, and despite Anna's curiosity, he offered no explanations. Instead, he deflected her questions with a dismissive wave and a snappy comment about the past being irrelevant. "You don't need to know why I left," he cut her off mid-question, his tone brooking no argument. "What matters is that I did, and now I have information that can help you to take Consortium down." Despite Evelyn's insistence that Darius needed protection, he seemed unbothered by the idea of danger. "I can take care of myself," he assured Anna, a faint smirk playing on his lips. "Evelyn worries too much. I've survived this long, haven't I?" His pride was evident, and so was his indifference. He was not interested in joining the resistance, but his desire to dismantle the Consortium was quite obvious. There was a flicker of personal vendetta in his eyes, a deep-seated urge for revenge that drove him as much as any sense of justice or morality. Trying to soften the vibe and evoke a friendly note of commonality, Anna brought up Evelyn into conversation, but Darius's reaction was not at all what she had expected. She was ready to see a spark of emotion, perhaps a sliver of warmth in his otherwise steely demeanor. Instead, Darius seemed completely indifferent, his face a mask of disinterest. She tried to gauge Darius's reaction as she threw another bait. "Evelyn mentioned you might need protection," she ventured, leaning forward and searching his impassive face. "She seems very worried about you. She loves you deeply and has risked a lot to help you and us." Darius's features barely moved. His gaze was fixed on the distant horizon. "Evelyn worries too much," he said flatly, his tone betraying no emotion. They were on the beach now. He walked energetically, taking long, fast-paced strides. Anna was trying to keep up, trailing slightly behind him. She said you two were very close," she continued to press on, sensing this odd distance in his demeanor. "She even mentioned that you two are madly in love." Darius halted abruptly at these words, his figure silhouetted against the soft glimmer of the waves crushing against the sand behind him. He turned slowly to face Anna, his eyes momentarily meeting hers. Anna thought she glimpsed a shadow of something, perhaps pain or conflict, but it was fleeting and unclear, his sunglasses reflecting a slowly setting sun. "Evelyn and I—" Darius's voice was devoid of warmth. "We care for each other, yes. But right now, what's important is handling our business." Anna was taken aback by the detachment in his tone. Evelyn had painted a picture of Darius as a man of intense affection and passion. This cold, distant version seemed at odds with the loving partner she had described. There was something mysterious in this story, something Darius was deliberately concealing. He resumed walking, leaving Anna to follow, her thoughts swirling with confusion and unease. She started to realize that Darius was even more enigmatic than she initially thought. It was not just a man on a revenge mission, but also someone who had carried his emotions deep, perhaps as a shield against his own tumultuous past. Now to the information you need to know. The Consortium is about to release a bioweapon. Darius stopped and took a seat on the sand, gesturing to Anna to join him there. His voice sounded grave and pensive. They've been planning this for a long time, waiting for the right moment. Anna's eyes widened in panic at these words. When are they going to do this? Her companion scooped up a handful of sand, letting it trickle through his fingers in a slow, steady stream. He watched the grains fall, mesmerized by their flow, his thoughts seemingly adrift, before he carried on. Unfortunately, too soon for you to act on it, he replied stiffly. But the good news, we have an opportunity to delay it long enough for us to have a chance to take preventative action. The main figure overseeing the virus release is going to attend a certain event tonight, here in Istanbul. Your mission will be to locate and eliminate him in the most discreet manner. The stakes are extremely high, and the fate of the world depends on your effectiveness. He paused, letting the gravity of his words sink in before he continued. So, the event tonight, Anna began, trying to process the information. Tonight, he said, Turkish Wealthy is holding a grand theatrical mystery murder game night. The event is for the elite, and the person you need will be there. He loves this kind of performances. He'll be in disguise, participating in the game. This might provide a potential setback, although if we play our cards right, we can use it to our advantage. So, who exactly am I looking for? She asked, her tone steady despite the flutter of anticipation in her chest. I need to know more about this target. Can you describe him? Of course. It is a man in his late 40s, tall and slightly overweight. Tonight, he's masquerading as an Indonesian diplomat. Anna listened intently as Darius continued. He'll be dressed in a dark blue suit with flashy lapels and cuffs. He will wear a white cravat and a gold pocket watch. What about his face? Anna asked, her eyes narrowing in effort as she absorbed every detail. Darius's lips quirked slightly as if in disgust as he described the man. He will be wearing a powdered wig, gold-trimmed monocle, and a goatee. Anna nodded, trying to picture the man. And how do I approach him without raising suspicion? She inquired, her mind going through possible scenarios. We'll get you a very good disguise, too. You will be a guest in this event, Darius advised. With these words, he pulled out of his pocket a small note and handed it to Anna. Here is an information about a lockbox. You will find everything you need for the mission in there. Use the game's play to your advantage. Wait for a moment when he's alone or distracted. The key is to be discreet and precise. Anna studied the note closely for a minute before she returned a confident. Understood. I am ready. Darius gave her a reassuring nod. Good luck. This is a crucial opportunity. Stay vigilant and don't let your guard down.
This is the end of this chapter. Thank you very much for listening. Please, let me know in the comments what would you like to see further in the story. What do you think of the characters? What was the most interesting thing for you about this part of the story? I would love to hear your opinion and feedback.